Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite Nhl Dfs plays for this Thursday, December 21st slate. We got ourselves a massive 12-game slate here tonight, where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and then we'll wrap up the video with 3 low-priced options or sub 4K forward plays. With that being said, let's dive right into this. And we're going to kick things off here by highlighting these 12 games that we have on this slate tonight, showing you the money lines and over-unders. First set of games here, we got the Blues at Panthers, Maple Leafs at Sabres, Hurricanes at Penguins, Golden Knights at Lightning, Predators at Flyers, and the Washington Capitals taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Next set of games here, we got the Oilers at Devils, Canucks at Stars, Canadiens at Wild, Senators at Avalanche, Flames at Ducks, and the Arizona Coyotes taking on the San Jose Sharks. And then here's a midweek schedule update, Nhl Dfs video here today, and then 2 more NFL DFS videos coming out this week. Got my final cash plays video coming out tomorrow, and my final tournament or GPP plays video coming out on Saturday. With all that said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight, starting with that second line for the Florida Panthers. We got Sam Bennett centering Matthew Tkachuk and Carter Verhaeghe. Pretty affordable considering the upside they offer, and of 76 qualified lines this year, they rank 14th overall and expected goals per 60 minutes. That kind of leads into my next point here. Of all the lines in the NHL, they might be the line that has the most positive regression coming their way. These 3 have combined for 35.3 expected goals this season, but have just 24 actual goals to show for it. It seems like a good spot for them to get on track against a Blues team at home, a Blues team that's allowed 3.35 goals per game this year, the 10th most in the NHL. We're going to see Tkachuk and Verhaeghe play up on the Panthers' #1 power play tonight, and Bennett play down on their #2 power play. And then a cheaper line stack that I like here tonight is that second line for the Dallas Stars. We got Matt Duchene centering Tyler Seguin and Mason Marchment. Now for starters, they're very affordable, but I also love the correlation you're getting with these 3, with all 3 of them playing on the #2 power play for the Dallas Stars. And these 3 have been good together this year. I'm actually quite surprised they're still this cheap. The 3 have combined for 29 goals, 41 assists in 30 games this season. And I know the matchup at home tonight doesn't look the best, playing the Vancouver Canucks, who rank 2nd in the NHL in goals allowed, having just allowed 2.42 goals per game. But if you look at some other analytics here, this team ranks 24th overall in expected goals against, so that's basically saying they've been getting some stellar goaltending this year, largely due from Thatcher Demko. And that's not to say Demko couldn't play well here tonight, but sooner than later, I believe this Vancouver Canucks team is going to be exposed. Not saying that's going to be here tonight, but I do love the correlation and how affordable this line is, and the upside they've shown this year. Now folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm going to have hockey content coming out for you guys all year long. Now, diving into these individual plays here, we're going to kick it off at the forward position. I could have gone back to Valeri Nichushkin, but he has crept into the 7K range now, so I'm going to highlight Mikko Rantanen here, the Colorado Avalanche, priced at $8,300 against the Ottawa Senators at home tonight. He's been good all year long, 15 goals, 25 assists, 40 points in 32 games. That trend has not changed here as of late. 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points in his last 10. And this Senators team is really slumping right now. They've won just 3 of their last 12 games, allowing 3.67 goals per game during that stretch, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 66% rate, and we're going to see Mikko play up on that first line and #1 power play for the Avs tonight. Now, I like the Toronto Maple Leafs in general here tonight. Good spot on the road against the Buffalo Sabres, but I'm going to highlight John Tavares here at $6,800. He's got 9 goals, 20 assists, 29 points in 29 games, which is obviously great if you're a point-per-game player. He's playing on their second line and #1 power play, but if you look at these numbers here, he ranks 6th in the NHL in expected goals with 16.6 and has just 9 actual goals to show for that. Again, another player who probably has some positive regression coming his way in the goal department, and he ranks 17th overall in shots on goal, a 430 qualified forward. So he's ripping the puck this year. Absolutely love to see that. And this Sabres team here has allowed 3.42 goals per game this season, the 8th most in the NHL. The next guy I got here then is Matt Boldy Boldy of the Minnesota Wild, priced at $6,300 tonight in a great matchup at home against the Montreal Canadiens. You know, I've kind of mentioned this over the last 2 weeks. Boldy has found his scoring touch as of late with 7 goals in his last 11 games, and a good matchup for him to expand on that here tonight against a Canadiens team that's allowed 3.32 goals per game this year, the 11th most in the NHL, while having the 5th worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 73% rate. And this team is not afraid to take penalties either, having taken the 3rd most penalties in the NHL this year, 3.9 per game. We're going to see Boldy play up on the first line for the Wild tonight and on their number 1 power play. Now, one of the better value plays in my opinion tonight at the forward position is Nico Hischier of the New Jersey Devils. He's priced at $5,100 in a matchup at home against the Edmonton Oilers. This is a guy who crept in the 6K range for most of last year, and I understand he just returned from the IR 12 games ago, but he's been pretty damn solid in those games with 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points, playing on the second line and number 1 power play for the Devils, and I certainly don't mind the matchup at home tonight against the Oilers, a team that's allowed 3.45 goals per game this year, the 6th most in the NHL, and they have the 21st ranked penalty kill, hitting at just a 78% rate. And then dipping into the 4K range of forwards here, Igor Shinnikov of the Columbus Blue Jackets is sticking out to me here at $4,100 because he is on an absolute tear right now over his last 5 games, having racked up 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points, scoring 11 plus Draftkings points in every single one of those games, while currently playing on the second line and number 1 power play for the Blue Jackets. It's worth mentioning here as well, they are catching a Capitals team who's an older team in the NHL, playing on back-to-back nights, but here's some other 4K forward plays that stuck out to me as well. You got Sharon Govich of the Calgary Flames, and then Gaudreau and Marchenko of the Columbus Blue Jackets as well. Now, moving on to the defensemen, and being that it is a 12-game slate here tonight, there's a handful of high-priced defensemen that I do think are in play, but for the most part, the 4 to 5K range here is offering the most value in my opinion. One guy that was sticking out to me here in the 5K range is Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets, priced at $5,600, a very well-rounded defenseman who's got 1 goal, 24 assists, 25 points in 31 games, logs massive minutes for this Blue Jackets team, 26-plus minutes per night, playing on their number 1 power play and the penalty kill, but again, a very well-rounded defenseman who can rack up Draftkings points in a number of different ways. Not only does he get on the score sheet, but he's not afraid to shoot the puck or block shots either, averaging 2.5 shots on goal per game and 1.7 block shots per game. The next guy I got on my list here then is Justin Falk of the St. Louis Blues, priced at $4,900 in a matchup on the road against the Florida Panthers. Honestly, my only gripe with him is he doesn't play on the number 1 power play for the Blues, but outside of that, another very well-rounded defenseman who's been on a tear as of late. He's got 1 goal, 14 assists, 15 points on the season in 31 games, someone who logs 22-plus minutes per game and plays on their number 2 power play as well as their penalty kill. But again, very well-rounded defenseman who averages 2.4 shots on goal per game and 2.1 block shots per game. But if you go look at his game log here on DraftKings over his past 10, he's been racking up some solid DraftKings points. And I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here with this next play, but Jake Sanderson of the Ottawa Senators is still in the mid 4K range here. Certainly a tougher matchup on the road against Colorado, but if he floats in this 4K range, I'm going to continue to put him in my player pool as long as he continues to play well. 5 goals, 12 assists, 17 points in 27 games this year, playing around 23 minutes per night, up on the Senators' number 1 power play and their penalty kill, averaging around 2 shots on net per game and 2 block shots per game as well. Again, another very well-rounded defenseman. And then dipping into the 3K range of defensemen here, Brock Faber of the Minnesota Wild was an easy target at $3,800, again at home here against the Montreal Canadiens. Sounds like Jared Spurgeon did not practice this morning either, so I think he's going to have a similar role here tonight, a role where he's played 30-plus minutes in 3 of his last 4 games, up on the Wild's number 1 power play and logging big minutes on the penalty kill, and he's been getting on the score sheet too, 1 goal, 13 assists, 14 points in 30 games this year. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here for you, and if I'm looking to spend up here tonight, I do like Philip Gustafsson of the Minnesota Wild, priced at $8,400, again at home here against Montreal. He has looked great in his last 8 starts, with a record of 6-2-0, save percentage of .942, and a goals allowed average of 1.61. His Canadiens team, not a high-scoring team either, averaging just 2.71 goals per game this year, ranking 27th out of 32 teams, and the Wild are heavy home favorites here tonight, sitting at a money line of -220. And And then if I'm looking to save money at the goalie position, UC Saros stuck out to me for the Nashville Predators at $7,400. And I know this is a tough matchup on the road against Philadelphia. The Flyers are playing good hockey right now, and I know Saros wasn't great in his last game against Vancouver, kind of got beat up in that game, but prior to that, he was playing terrific hockey. In his previous 10 games, he went 9-1-0 with a save percentage of .937, a goals allowed average of 2.02, averaging 19 DraftKings points per game. So he's probably more of a tournament GPP play for me, but he offers that boom appeal that I'm looking for, or a ceiling score of 30 plus DraftKings points. And as always, going to wrap up this video here with 3 low priced options or sub 4K forward plays. The first guy that I got is Matthias Maselli of the Arizona Coyotes. I absolutely think we can go with Alexander Kerfoot of the Coyotes tonight at $3,600. He's currently centering that first line with Schmaltz and Keller and playing up on their #1 power play. But Maselli here is playing some good hockey right now. 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points in his last 10 games. Love the way he's been shooting the puck. 33 shots on net during that stretch, averaging 11 DraftKings points per game. The next guy I got on my list here then is Michael Bunting of the Carolina Hurricanes, currently playing on their second line in #1 power play, and he's been solid when it comes to getting on the score sheet for the Hurricanes this year. 7 goals, 15 assists, 22 points in 31 games, and offers some nice upside as well. You can see that here in his last game where he had 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, and racked up 24.5 DraftKings points. And then the last guy that I got there is Adam Henrique of the Anaheim Ducks, who's also playing some really good hockey right now, priced at $3,500, and he's racked up 7 goals, 2 assists, 9 points in his last 10 games, averaging 12 DraftKings points per game. Not bad at all for a guy priced here in the mid 3K range. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 12-game slate. And in the meantime, I'm out of here.